First tonight on News 3, a lingering problem. Blue-green algae once again closing more than a dozen area beaches.
A team effort, the UW in the middle of a nationwide project looking into the lasting effects of the Zika virus.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us. Eric is off for a few days. It seems like clockwork, really. It's early summer and toxic blue-green algae is taking over Madison lakes.
Seems to happen every year. UW-Madison researchers say they're learning more about what causes these blooms and why they appear so bad this year. Our Madeline O'Neill has more from Lake Mendota.
For those in Madison, algae in the lakes is nothing new. The sights and smells are familiar, but researchers say it doesn't have to be this way.
Just looks kind of gross, and it smells pretty bad as well.
When visiting Lake Mendota, Peter Jansen from Verona is used to seeing green, the kind of green that makes him think twice before taking a dip.
I might jump in real quick and get out as fast as I can, but...
Algae in lakes, including the toxic blue-green variety.
Visually, probably, and aesthetically, the worst looking blooms we've probably seen in about 30 years.
Is becoming as at home in Madison's lakes as its most common visitors.
Things will probably end up getting worse before they can get better.
While UW professor Chris Kucharek says it's hard to quantify if the magnitude of the algae is any worse this year. He and other researchers are now pinpointing what leads to bigger blooms.
We have a feeling what's been happening in the last 3 weeks has really been related to that 1-2 punch of heavy rainfall followed by really hot weather.
That heavy rainfall carries phosphorus, responsible for algae growth from farmland into the lakes. Phosphorus also comes from other sources, including stream beds where it's built up over the years.
We've never done this before.
The new Suck the Muck project from Dane County is cleaning up sludge full of phosphorus from more than 30 miles of streams feeding into the lakes.
It's been a challenge, but at this point, we got it up. Things are moving really efficiently.
Suck the Muck probably will help, I think, temporarily.
But Kucharek says for long-term results.
I think it really is going to require a transition in agriculture and how we manage land, but we need to be helping the farmers to do that.
In a city where green lakes have become the norm, Jansen is still hoping for clearer waters.
When you go up north, you see all the Northwood lakes. They're pretty clear and nice, so something like that would be a lot better.
Those with the Suck the Muck project plan to remove nearly 900,000 pounds of phosphorus to prevent algae blooms like this. Reporting in Madison, Madeline O'Neill for WISC News 3.
And UW researchers say if we see heavy rainfall followed by hot temperatures this summer, more big algae blooms are likely.
And those blooms are also causing problems for a number of area businesses. We spoke to one today, Brittingham Boats along Lake Monona. They say more customers have been calling ahead of time with concerns about the water this year.
They're concerned about their kids being in the water, pets being in the water. Generally, but we're putting people, again, in boats and they're not really engaged in the water. If I were an open water swim team, I'd have a lot more issues.
The Clean Lakes Alliance says they have a solution to keeping the lakes cleaner that could make business owners happy. They say right now they just need the support from local lawmakers.
And as we mentioned, the excessive heat isn't helping either, and this week won't be much cooler. Let's check in now with Gary Canalti. He's in the Weather Center with the first alert forecast. Gary?
Hi, Susan. Yesterday we had a line of thunderstorms late in the afternoon that broke the heat a bit. Temperatures are down a bit today and the humidity levels are down, but that'll build right back up over the next couple of days. We have an alert day in the forecast for the 4th of July Wednesday for high temperatures around 90, heat index values in the mid to upper 90s. Also a chance for some thunderstorms that might interfere with outdoor activities, especially Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. Visible cloud track shows Wisconsin pretty much in the clear. The air has dried out a little bit, so we don't have as much in the way of cloud cover, but while the low temperatures this morning started out in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. High temperatures generally were in the mid 80s, a few places in the upper 80s, like out toward the La Crosse area. And current temperatures are still in the mid to upper 80s through much of southern Wisconsin. A little cooler near Lake Michigan, but not by very much. Dew point temperatures are also down a bit. They're mainly in the lower to middle 60s, but those will creep back up over the next couple of days. And heat index values right now generally are in the mid to upper 80s. We'll see those in the 90s the next couple of days. Look for temperatures to only only drop off into the middle 60s by early tomorrow morning. Look for a high tomorrow of 89 with the heat index somewhere between 92 and 97. That's your first alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary. With the hot and humid weather this week, Animal Services is expecting many calls from people reporting dogs being left in hot cars. This past weekend, Animal Services got called to rescue a dog in a hot car an average of 10 times each day. When it's 80 degrees outside, it takes just a few minutes for the inside of a car to reach over 100 degrees. Officers say the owner usually thinks they can run into the store for a quick few minutes, and they don't believe they're doing anything wrong.
They're like, I'm a great pet owner. I take my dog everywhere with me. You know, I love my dog. And our response is that in hot temperatures, you can love your dog to death.
Sometimes even after being taken home, the dog can die from the damage the heat has already done to their brain and organs. Because they don't sweat, panting is the only way they can get rid of excess heat. UW-Madison is in the midst of extensive research on how the Zika virus can multiply the risk of miscarriages and stillbirths.
Researchers have teamed up with 6 national primate research centers across the country to combine the results of what they found in each of their studies. Our Jamie Perez is back from speaking with scientists who helped spearhead this study. Jamie?
That's right. Well, the Zika virus is nothing new, but what scientists continue to discover about it is surprising to them. They conducted this study on 50 non-human primates, and here's what they found.
Mosquitoes are a common summertime pest, but the annoyance with them goes a bit beyond the common bite.
We know that at least half of people who are infected with Zika virus have no symptoms at all.
New research on the Zika virus done here in Madison reveals a new effect on pregnancy, one that surprised many of the scientists involved.
Something goes kind of wrong with that process.
Nearly 26% of the monkeys who were experimentally infected with the virus had a miscarriage or stillbirth. The former reported rate for humans was only around 6%. So you can see how the rate of fetal demise is a bit shocking.
We really have no way of treating or doing anything for a person who is diagnosed with Zika virus and is pregnant.
No, the only thing you can do is monitor the pregnancy, but even then, there's no cure.
So in Wisconsin, the only real cases of Zika virus come from travel.
So if you or your partner are traveling this summer, be cautious of those pesky bugs, especially if you are or are planning to become pregnant.
Animals that were infected during the first trimester were much more likely to have a fetal demise than animals infected during the third trimester or later on in pregnancy.
The research on the Zika virus and specifically how it affects the placenta during pregnancy is still ongoing. Scientists hope they can find a more thorough study on how to prevent and cure this when this happens.
We'll continue to follow it. Jamie Perez in the newsroom. Thanks, Jamie.
Federal prosecutors have charged a Milwaukee man with attempting to firebomb a police station during riots 2 summers ago. Police clashed with protesters in Milwaukee's Sherman Park neighborhood for 2 straight nights in August of 2016 after Officer Dominic Hagan Brown killed Seville Smith during a chase. According to court documents filed today, 31-year-old Van Mays, who was a teen mentor at Sherman Park, planned to bomb the Sherman Park police station with Molotov cocktails. Informants say they saw him build them and go to the station that night.
The Dane County Narcotics Task Force has arrested 2 men connected to a drug peddling investigation in Madison, Sun Prairie, and Milwaukee. Police say 40-year-old Corey Alexander of Sun Prairie and 39-year-old Tori Latham from the town of Madison had nearly $60,000 worth of heroin at their homes. They say they also seized 8 guns and more than $3,000 in cash. The 2 are facing a slew of charges, including maintaining a drug house. Verona police are investigating a string of stolen cars over the weekend. In 24 hours, police received 3 separate reports of stolen automobiles from Saturday night through Sunday night. One on Ridgecrest Lane, one on Meadowside Drive, and another on Jenna Drive. Police say all three vehicles were unlocked and the keys were inside. Still to come tonight at 6, a change-up at this year's UW sporting events.
And some reminders for drivers as we head into the midweek 4th of July holiday. What we can expect on the roads next at 6. Welcome back. Any Wisconsin resident who has not applied for their $100 per child tax credit yet has until midnight tonight to do so.
Parents can file claims to the State Department of Revenue's website. It's childtaxrebate.wi.gov. The filing period began May 15th. You must have a child who was under the age of 18 as of December 31st of 2017. So far, more than 500,000 families have applied for the rebate.
Even with the largest investment in schools ever in state history, actual dollar investment, the largest ever, even with lower property and income taxes for everyone, for senior citizens, small business owners, working families and family farmers, we still had a larger surplus than expected. And so this is money we're sending back to working families.
Democrats have accused Governor Walker of setting up the rebate and a 5-day sales tax holiday in August as nothing more than election year bribes.
One of 6 Republicans running to replace House Speaker Paul Ryan is dropping out of the race. Ryan is not seeking re-election. Neshota psychologist Brad Boyven announced today that he is ending his campaign. Brian Stile, Jeremy Ryan, Paul Nehlen, Kevin Steen, and Nick Pulse will now face each other in the Republican primary on August 14th. Randy Bryce and Kathy Myers will compete in the Democratic primary. The general election is November 6th.
There is a new beverage provider for Badger home games this year at Camp Randall Stadium. The UW's 5-year deal with Pepsi is official. It's officially in place as of yesterday. The UW Board of Regents approved the deal back in October. Previously, RC Cola and Dr. Pepper products were the only ones available at sporting events. The university also signed a 6-year contract with Gatorade to get those products on the sidelines. July 4th, of course, is all about fun in the sun, unless you're stuck in traffic, that is.
The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is reminding motorists to expect delays if they are traveling on Independence Day. And as always, keep safety first.
We'll just need to be patient, and traffic is what it is. You know, you're not going to get anywhere quicker trying to weave through it or trying to fight your way through it. Just go with the flow and let the traffic do its thing, and you'll get to where you're going safely.
Most highway construction projects will be halted for the holiday starting noon tomorrow and resuming on Thursday. So there shouldn't be any lane closures, but motorists should still be prepared to slow down in work zones. Law enforcement will be out in force. Still to come tonight, the Brewers look to get back in the win column after 2 straight losses.
Plus the longest day of golf to raise money for the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Jay has that story coming up in sports.
In weather, the heat and humidity will continue to build. We have an alert day in the forecast for the 4th of July for high heat and humidity, but there's a break on the way for the end of the week. I'll have your full first alert forecast in a few minutes.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is here with a look at your forecast.
You know, today's actually felt pretty nice out there, even though it was warm and somewhat humid.
But compared to the weekend,
you know,
wow.
it just kind of puts things in perspective. Well, if you missed the weekend weather, it'll kind of come back over the next couple of days. Let's start out by taking a look at the last 5 4th of Julys here in Madison. And actually, temperatures have been right around normal. 75 is the coolest of the last 5 years back in 2016, but generally temperatures were in the lower 80s. Nighttime low temperatures a little bit cooler than normal. The average low temperature is about 60, and we haven't had any rain. In fact, Dave Caulfield did some research. We haven't had measurable rain for the last 12 4th of Julys here in Madison. But we do have an alert day in the forecast for the 4th of July for high temperatures around 90, heat index in the 93 to 98 range. So throw the last 5 years out, we're still going to be dealing with a hot and humid 4th of July, just like the last couple of days. And there's also a chance of thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon and at night. Not widespread, but some people will get rain. Just impossible to tell who's going to get it so far. But otherwise, look for temperatures to start out in the lower 70s on the 4th of July and end up close to 90 with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm late in the day. As far as the 4th of July fireworks are concerned, temperatures will start out in the mid-80s by about 7 p.m., be into the low 80s with a chance of thunderstorms around 9 p.m., and then into the upper 70s by 11 p.m. Again, not everybody will see the rain, but you have to be prepared for a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. High temperatures tomorrow afternoon around 4 o'clock, generally in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. Very similar numbers for the 4th of July Wednesday. High temperature here in Madison expected to be around 90 degrees. But you take a look at the effects of the humidity along with the temperatures. Heat index values tomorrow afternoon, lower 90s. Tomorrow night, those heat index values stay in the 80s to the middle 70s by early on Wednesday morning. And then on the 4th of July, the very latest computer models puts triple-digit heat index values in here. Now, that would assume temperatures a little warmer than the forecast high of 90 degrees and also a little more humidity. That will depend on thunderstorm chances at that point. But we're still going to be dealing with a lot of heat and humidity on the 4th of July one way or another. A few showers up in the northern part of the Midwest. Nothing to break the heat right now. On Wednesday, there'll actually be a chance for some severe thunderstorms over northwestern Wisconsin. By the time those storms reach us late on Wednesday night, I think they probably will fall below severe limits and they won't be as widespread. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Clear skies there. The WISC Skycam looking toward the south. Again, not a cloud to be found around, and that's just helping keep us warm. The Edgewater Skycam on downtown Madison, that's the place to be, the southern end of Lake Mendota. The almanac for today shows a high of 84, the low 59, very close to the normals of 82 and 60. And right now we're still at 84 degrees with a southerly wind at 10 miles per hour. Heat index at 85 with temperatures dew point temperatures in the lower to middle 60s. Statewide temperatures are mainly in the 80s, but again, they'll continue to creep upward over the next couple of days. Our forecast for tonight calls for skies to be mostly clear. It'll be muggy, low temperature dropping to 63. For tomorrow, a high of 89. The heat index in the afternoon from 92 to 97 degrees. On future track, notice with the absence of clouds for tonight, low temperatures dropping to the lower 60s. Highs tomorrow back into the upper 80s to around 90 degrees. I think we'll stay dry during the day tomorrow and also for tomorrow night with low temperatures dropping only to the lower 70s. 4th of July Wednesday, could see some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. We can see how many areas also stay dry during that period as well. High temperatures around 90. 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures are going to cool off a little bit at the end of the week into the lower 80s with a drop in humidity. But watch what happens next week. They come right back up into the mid to upper 80s with a few chances for thunderstorms.
How would you like to play golf from sunrise to sunset? Some local players are doing that today for a very good reason. Stories coming up in sports.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carolla. Tonight on the news at 9, 4 senior groups are teaming up to provide more services to the community. We'll tell you about that. It's first on Fox at 9.
News
Some think the World Cup is kind of boring, but a majority of the world thinks it's great, and you're all entitled to your opinion. But today's Belgium-Japan round of 16 game was fantastic. Belgium ranked third in the world. Golf courses, Black Hawk, Pleasant View, Janesville Country Club, and Lake Ripley in Cambridge. Some hardy souls played a lot of golf. Some of them started at 5 in the morning and they'll play until sunset. It's the longest day of golf to raise money for the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Melissa Kim caught up, or shall I say, tried to keep up with some of the players.
Back door. Just tap it in, quick pickup, and we're off again.
It's a little after 1:30 in the afternoon at Pleasant View Golf Course.
Like 8-iron, right?
And this foursome has already put in an 8.5-hour day.
Oh, hey, that'll play. That'll play.
134 holes, to be exact.
We started at 5 a.m.
So what time are you guys going to go until?
Till we can't see the ball anymore.
And they're not the only ones. Over at Black Hawk Country Club, this foursome also hit the links while you are probably still sleeping.
Pretty cool that kids kind of get behind it and can do some more for golf rather than just play and compete.
All in the name of helping their community by raising money for UW Carbone Cancer Center, according to Mark Hartman.
I know golf is one of those sports where, usually they're pretty fortunate that, they can play this sport and use it to kind of, do something for more than just themselves.
Back over at Pleasant View, it is no rest for the weary.
We took our first 10-minute break, but other than that, it's been maybe like a minute to go to the bathroom. Brett, do you see mine? Do you see mine? When we told people we were doing it and they asked how many holes we get and we'd say we're trying to get at least 200, they were like, that's when they were surprised. One of our friends' dads, he said, oh, I thought you only get in maybe like 50 holes.
No, no, no. The goal at each course, at least 200. We'll see you at 10 o'clock, gentlemen.
The Brewers are home for the holiday. They're starting a series with the Minnesota Twins at Miller Park tonight at 7:10. Brent Suter gets the start for the Brewers, who are a half game ahead of the Cubs in the Central Division. And Lucas Hackman is a member of the St. Louis Cardinals grounds crew at Busch Stadium. Last year, he was all over the YouTube when the stray cat was scratching him on the field. Yesterday, old Lucas was finishing up some grounds crew pregame stuff when the ceremonial first pitch ended up hitting him in the back of the head. Well, he's okay, but his claim to fame now is getting scratched by a cat and getting hit in the head with a first pitch.
What are the odds of that?
Goodness.
Fame is fleeting, but
I guess you shouldn't vote for St. Louis then.
There you go. See? Poor guy.
Well, more heat, more humidity. I was at the Cubs game yesterday in Chicago, sweltering in the heat there, and it looks like more of the same on the way for the next few days. We have an alert day in place for the 4th of July Wednesday for high temperatures around 90, heat index values well into the 90s, and a chance for some afternoon and evening shower and thunderstorms across the area. Otherwise, look for a little bit of a break in the heat and humidity toward the end of the week. Highs low to mid 80s, but with less humidity for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, kind of like today. And then we're back to more humidity and more heat as we head into next week. Highs mid to upper 80s with just a couple of chances for thunderstorms. So most of the time, no real relief.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Gary.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.